Hey guys, it's me, the bad empanada. So I don't really like to identify myself with like BreadTube or anything like that. In my opinion, it's not really actually a community. But this isn't about that. This isn't about my views on that. This is about this hilarious video that I just saw like literally 10 minutes ago. It's a video by Caleb Maupin, who people have asked me to talk about before. I've just had some comments from people like, saying, hey, what do you think about Caleb Maupin? I have no idea who it is, so I didn't respond. And so now I finally know who it is, just off this 2-minute clip that I think tells me everything that I need to know about this guy. It is hilarious, and basically the thesis of this clip is that BreadTube is being funded by, like some dark entity, some evil figure to make it anti-China. So yeah, let's watch this 2-minute clip and then I'll comment on it afterwards and look a bit more into this Caleb Maupin guy, because honestly, it's a little bit weird.
Indeed. Well, let me add one thing, which is I've noticed this, and I don't want to say this in a way that we should be upset about this. We should be happy about this in a way. But if you'll notice, like the person who set up the debate between me and Destiny is this guy named Faraday Speaks. He's Caleb something. He's also named Caleb, same name as me. But he was featured in the New York Times. He was an ex-alt-rightist who is now left-wing or something like that. He's the one who set up the debate between me and Destiny. He was featured in the New York Times. There's also ContraPoints, which is a YouTube channel that I actually have learned a lot from. I don't agree with everything on it, but I've learned a lot from ContraPoints, who calls herself kind of a socialist, and she talks about internet memes and the alt-right and stuff like that. And now we have Bosch, and it seems like there is some funding, and that there is some entity that is kind of strategically highlighting these kind of voices as an effort to beat back the alt-right. That's probably a good thing, right? I mean, not probably, it is a good thing. But I think that entity is also very, very anti-socialist against China, against the Soviet Union, maybe, and weird, maybe more sympathetic to Vietnam, which is interesting, maybe more sympathetic to Cuba, but very hostile to Russia and China, very hostile to the history of the Soviet Union and such. And that it seems like that entity is kind of, whatever that entity is, could be a private foundation, could be one wealthy individual, who knows? But it seems like certain voices that all kind of have the same kind of perspective are suddenly out of the blue appearing on social media and becoming the voices of leftism. And mainstream media highlights them, right? I mean, we saw the New Yorker highlighted ContraPoints, and mainstream media kind of also props them up. And it's very interesting. And I wonder who's behind this, who's paying for this, and I think it's interesting, and it kind of points to fights within the bourgeoisie that I talked about, earlier, right? And that the alt-right is definitely a threat. And I'm sure there's many sections of the bourgeoisie that are supporting the alt-right. So this is an interesting development that we as Marxists should analyze.
So yeah, I think that clip kind of speaks for itself. It's like, oh, where are these people getting all this money? Clearly someone's paying them to be against China, because, no one could ever possibly not be 100% total stand for Xi Jinping if they're not being paid by some, George Soros-like figure or whatever. It really sounds like, the budding Alan Jones of the left. But anyway, so I looked into it a little bit more, just like who the hell this guy is. By a little bit more, I mean I just literally clicked the first links on Google. So he's apparently a YouTuber with 11,000 subscribers. Nothing wrong with that. Everyone's got to start somewhere. But then I watched his intro on his channel. Who is Caleb Maupin? An animated intro is the name of the video. And I'm just going to put it on here so you can see it. And within the first 10 seconds, I was laughing, and I already knew enough about this guy. Just watch. It explains itself better than anything that I can do.
If you are one of the many people getting interested in socialism and world politics these days, you've probably heard of Caleb Maupin.
You've probably heard of Caleb Maupin, the guy with 11,000 YouTube subscribers who, I mean, it's not a tiny channel or anything, but let's just say that, there's 7 billion people in the world. I mean, is it 8 billion now? I don't even know. I haven't been checking, but, I'm pretty sure outside of those 11,000 subscribers, there's a whole lot of people who have probably not heard of Caleb Maupin. In fact, I would say the vast, vast majority of people who are interested in socialism have not heard of Caleb Maupin. But Caleb Maupin apparently thinks otherwise. And I mean, is this him? Is this him speaking? So is he like reading a script praising himself? What the fuck, man? How do you take yourself this seriously? And it gets funnier because he has like his own website named after himself. That's not bad by itself. You know, you can have your own website for your stuff, whatever the hell. But he has like this biography. Caleb Maupin is that voice, that professor, that sage you never knew existed but never were lucky enough to meet. That is how you lead your biography. Dude, did you write that quote about yourself? Is this like a self-quote about yourself? I'm like 99% sure it is. Either way, that is an incredibly wanky thing to lead with on your bio. And then it's like, Caleb Maupin is a widely acclaimed speaker, writer, journalist, political analyst, blah, blah, blah. It's basically, wow, Caleb Maupin is so great. Caleb Maupin is so great. Written in the third person. You know, he definitely didn't write this himself. And it's like, so incredibly like overdone. You know, you list your achievements and why you're so great and how smart you are. You know, I'm just looking at this and I'm thinking, dude, if anyone's being funded by someone, it's you. Like, come on, what is this? Seriously, his website comes off like it's the work of like an advertising agency or something. And this guy is telling other people that they're like being paid by shadowy figures to manipulate people. But I mean, this guy himself comes off as a character that someone is trying to sell to me. Someone who's trying way, way too hard to build a profile for themselves by just trying to play themselves up as being really important, rather than just trying to do it like organically. I mean, he has like bookings. You can book Caleb for your event, folks. Oh my god. His works have been republished by InfoWars. Oh my god, it's literally right there in his bio. His works have been republished by InfoWars. So, yep. Very interesting fella. Yeah, so that's my opinion on this Caleb Maupin guy. So those of you who keep asking me, you can stop. I rate him brainworms out of 10. Come on, this is too much. People think that I'm an asshole. But how do you look at this and not think, how does anyone look at this and not think something really weird here? Like, this is either like a complete narcissist, just like trying to, latch on to the whole grey zoneite sort of thing to build himself up, to get the attention that he thinks he deserves. Or it's like someone who is legitimately funded, ironically enough, while he's accusing others of being funded by evil dark money. Like, just on the funding thing, do you think like there might be another way that like ContraPoints and Vorsh and everyone else is funded? Do you think maybe it's like Patreon, ads? Maybe Patreon, maybe ads, maybe super chats, stuff like that. You think there might be another reason, Caleb Maupin, other than like this obvious, like blatantly borderline anti-Semitic conspiracy theories? You think maybe? I don't know. Could be. Maybe people don't need to be paid by some shadowy figure to not think that China is the greatest socialist country in the world, Caleb. I don't know. Who knows? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Bye.